Welcome back. In this video, we'll be looking at the while loop. So the while loop is similar to the for loop, but it's a bit different, and it will run while a certain condition is true. So first let's open up JShell and create an integer. So int, let's call it number, is equal to 1. Now let's create a while loop. So while number is less than 20, system.out.println number. And now we have to increment the value of number as well. So number plus plus, and then add a closing brace. So what this while loop will do is it will run while the number is less than 20, and each time it runs it will print the number and increment the number by 1 or add 1 to it. So let's run this now and see what it does. So it prints the numbers from 1 to 19 and then it stops. Let's look at another example. Let's create a float. F is equal to 0.0, and remember we have to put F at the end so that it knows it's a float, not a double. And now let's create a while loop. So while F is less than or equal to 30.0, then system.out.println F, and then this time let's increment F by 1.5. So F plus equals 1.5. Now let's run the while loop. So this while loop starts at 0, then it adds 1.5 each time it runs, and it prints the value of the float. And then when it gets to 30, then it stops the loop. And when you create a while loop, then it's important to remember to increment the value, because otherwise it will run forever. Let's just set F back to 0.0. And now if we run the while loop without incrementing F, then just print 0.0 forever until you make it stop. So why is it doing this? Well, the reason is because F is never greater than or equal to 30. So it's always less than or equal to 30, and it's always equal to 0. So it just always prints 0. We can also use the break keyword in loops. So we looked at the break keyword in the video on the switch statement, and we use it to break out of the switch statement. So the way that we use it in a loop is a bit different. So first let's create a loop. Let's create an int I is equal to 0. Then let's create a while loop. So while I is less than or equal to 20. Now inside the loop, let's create an if statement. So if I equals 10, then break. And if not, let's add an else statement to print the value of I. So now let's run it and see what happens. I told you it is very important to always remember to increment the variable. So we forgot to do that here. So let's just add that in. So I plus plus with a semicolon at the end. Now let's run it again. So now it prints the numbers from 0 to 9. And then when it gets to 10, it breaks out of the loop. So in this video, we looked at a brief introduction to the while loop. And in the next video, let's look at some examples of how we could use it in our code. So I'll see you then.